Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Jane Scheckter.
Sand in my shoes, sand from Havana, calling me to that ever so heavenly shore, calling me back to you once more. Dreams in the night, dreams of Havana, dreams of a love I haven't the strength to refuse. Darling, the sand is in my shoes. Deep in my veins, the sensuous strains of the soft guitar. Deep in my soul, the thunderous roll of the tropic sea. Under the stars, that was Havana. You are the moonlit memory I can't seem to lose. That's why my life's an aimless cruise. All that is real is the feel of the sand in my shoes. Deep in my veins, the sensuous strains of the soft guitar. Deep in my soul, the thunderous roll of the tropic sea. Under the stars, that was Havana. You are the moonlit memory I can't seem to lose. That's why my life's an aimless cruise. All that is real is the feel of the sand in my shoes. All that is real is the feel of the sand in my shoes. Okay, picture this. I'm 12 years old. I'm sitting in my room at my desk in Springfield, Massachusetts, doing my 7th grade homework, reading The Yearling. And can anything ruin a book more than having a quiz at the end of every chapter? Anyway, I was listening to the radio, a jazz station out of Boston, WBZ, WBZA in Springfield, and they played Sand in My Shoes, sung by Bobby Short. And I went, oh, wow, I love this. This is different. And it made me want to hear more. Free and easy, that's my style. Howdy do me, watch me smile. Fare thee well me after a while. 'Cause I gotta roll. 'Cause any place I hang my hat is home. Sweetened water, cherry wine. Thank you kindly, it suits me fine. Kansas City, Caroline, that's my honeycomb. any place I hang my hat is home. Birds roosting in the trees, pick up and go, and the going proves. That's how it ought to be. I pick up too when the Spirit moves me. Round the corner, across the bend, howdy stranger, so long friend. There's a voice in the lonesome wind that keeps a whispering, roam. I'm going where a velvet mat is, no matter where that is. 'Cause any place I hang my hat is home. Birds roosting in the trees, pick up and go, and the going proves. That's how it ought to be. I pick up too when the Spirit moves me. Cross the river, round the bend, howdy strangers, so long friend. There's a voice in the lonesome wind that keeps a whispering, roam. I'm going where a welcome mat is, no matter where that is. 'Cause any place I hang my hat is home. Good evening and welcome, everybody. And isn't this a perfect room to celebrate the late, great Bobby Short? I actually did 3 shows here in 2015 in honor of Bobby Short's 10th anniversary of his passing. And normally I would do it next year on March 20th, 2025, because it will be 20 years since Bobby Short is gone. Yeah. But I'm doing it this year for a very special reason. 2024 is Bobby Short's centennial year. Yeah, 100 years. Yeah. Well, about 25 years ago, roughly that, I was walking home from the Cafe Carlisle, having seen Bobby do a show, and I was wondering to myself, what was it that made me just adore this man so much? And it came to me. There's a line in the Old Testament. Actually, I Googled it. It's Psalm 98. And it says, make a joyful noise. And that is exactly what Bobby Short did. He made a joyful noise. So with the help of Peter Grant on the drums, Jay Lenhart on the bass, and Ted Firth at the piano, we plan to make a joyful noise for you tonight. Oh, wait, pause. I have noodle. He'll noodle. There's a whole bunch of other stuff I wanted to tell you along with the joyful noise. Okay, well, my musical background started from the moment I was born, and my father was a professional harmonica player. He was in one of those harmonica bands that was so famous in the 1930s. They went to Hollywood and made a movie with Deanna Durbin. They opened for Fats Waller. And I listened to all the greatest singers. I mean, I grew up with Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole and Lena Horne and Peggy Lee and Rosemary Clooney. But that night, when I heard Bobby Short, it was completely a whole new thing. Maybe it was the way he played the piano, with all the sudden starts and stops and the crazy pauses. Or maybe it was his raspy voice. Whenever I'd go hear him at the Carlisle, somebody inevitably was hearing him for the first time and would say to me, is he sick? His throat, you know. And I would always say, no, that raspy voice is just his signature sound. Well, I bought all of his albums with my allowance, and since I don't throw things out, this is the album I bought when I was 12 years old in 1956, and that date doesn't leave this room. And I think I can promise you that I was the only 12-year-old walking around Springfield, Massachusetts, or maybe anywhere for that matter, singing "Sand in My Shoes, Sand from Havana." And the reason for that is that I was the very picture of sophistication. In Italia, the signore are so very amatore that their passions a priori is l'amour. Is it always l'amour?
Si.
Sempre l'amore. And from Napoli to Pisa, every man has on his knees a little private Mona Lisa to adore. As I once said before, it's sempre l'amore. The result is when Italians meet a friend who's been away, instead of saying, "How's your health?" they say, "How's your romance? How is it going? Waning or growing? How's your romance? Does she or not love you an awful lot? Cold, tepid, warm, or hot? How's your romance? Do you, from the moment you met her, never, never, never forget her? Do you, when she writes you a letter, begin to go into a dance? Break me the news. I'm with you, win or lose. So tell me how's and who's your romance? My romance doesn't have to have a moon in the sky. My romance doesn't need a blue lagoon standing by. No month of May, no twinkling star, no hideaway, no soft guitar. My romance doesn't need a castle rising in Spain, nor a dance to some constantly surprising refrain. Wide awake, I can make my most fantastic dream come true. My romance doesn't need a thing but you. wide awake, I can make my most fantastic dream come true. My romance doesn't need a thing but you. Some fine day, I'll get my mind off you. I'll figure out a way to make you see my point of view. Some fine day, I'll get your mind on me. I'm gonna say and do some things that ought to make you see how we're wasting time instead of tasting the sublime we know is waiting. It doesn't seem quite fair. You ought to give my love a little higher rating. Anyway, I'll keep my fingers crossed. Though you keep shying, I'll keep on trying. Maybe your heart will be lost some fine day. Some fine day, I'll get my mind off you. I'll figure out a way to make you see my point of view. Some fine day, I'll get your mind on me. I'm gonna say and do some things that ought to make you see how we're wasting time instead of tasting the sublime we know is waiting. It doesn't seem quite fair. You ought to give my love a little higher rating. Anyway, I'll keep my fingers crossed. Though you keep shying, I'll keep on trying. Maybe your heart will be, maybe your heart will be lost some fine day. Thank you. That song was written by New York pianist Cy Walter. Yeah. Well, I should say Cy Walter, who was really a marvelous piano player in New York in the 50s. His son, Mark Walter, is here with us tonight. I thank you so much for being here. Honor your father. Do we have any die-hard Bobby Short fans out here? Ah. Well, perhaps you might have recognized that we borrowed that arrangement note for note, along with some other songs in the show. Well, in October of 1996, I did a show at 88's, and my flyer was Jane Scheckter Loves, crossed out, adores Bobby Short. And of course, I sent him an invitation, and he said he was coming opening night. So, and it was a nor'easter, and he sat in the back. He sat in the back with two friends, and I thought, oh my God, what if he really has a bird about this? What if he wants to kill me, or worse, cease and desist? So I was seriously, I was really up on that stage that night, and I thought, I'd better do some damage control really fast. I knew he was sitting in the back, and I looked out there in the dark, and I said, Mr. Short. I called him Mr. Short. And I said, you may have noticed that we have borrowed some of your arrangements. And the reason is because I learned them that way, because I love them, and because they're absolutely perfect. It worked. So after the show, I went up to thank him for coming, and I realized he was sitting right near my Sony tape recorder, was recording the show. And I found out afterwards, it recorded him telling his friends, I adored it. It was adorable. It was a Valentine to me. Yeah. Yeah. So, along with his great arrangements, the other great arrangements are by Mike Renzi, Jeff Harris, and Ted Ferd. Love is a lovely thing. Love is a breath of spring. Love is a magic crown, but don't let it get you down. Give it a little whirl. Show it a little care. Get it into your heart, but baby, don't let it get into your hair. Hand it a big hello. Give it a swell farewell. What if it doesn't last forever? Better a little now than never. Shout it round the town, but don't let it get you down with love, with flowers and rice and shoes. Down with love, the root of all midnight blues. Down with things that give you that well-known pain. Take that moon and wrap it in cellophane. Down with love, let's liquidate all its friends. Like moon and June and roses and rainbows ends. Down with songs that moan about night and day. Down with love, just take it away, away. Away. Take it away. Give it back to the birds and the bees and the Viennese. Down with eyes romantic and stupid. Down with sighs. Down with Cupid. Brother, let's stuff that dove. Down with love. Down with love, let's liquidate all its friends. Like moon and June and roses and rainbows end. Down with songs that moan about night and day. Down with love, yes, take it away, away, away. Take it away. Give it back to the birds and bees. And don't forget the Viennese. Down with eyes romantic and stupid. Down with sighs and down with Cupid. Brother, let's stuff that dove. Down with love. Take back the glove and stuff that dove and down with love. Well, those two songs were not exactly Valentine's. Uh, but they both had lyrics by Yip Harburg, and he must have been having a pretty rotten day. But this next song is truly a Valentine. It is written by Cole Porter, and it's the oldest song in this show. It was written in 1925. It is 99 years old. Ah! Okay. So, now, only Bobby Short could think of putting in 16 bars of la 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 to express his joy. I'm in love again, and the spring is coming. I'm in love again, hear my heartstrings strumming. I'm in love again, and the tune I'm humming is a huddle up, cuddle up blues. Can't rise above it, I'm in love again. And I love, love, love it, I'm in love again. And I'm darn glad of it, good news. Why am I just as happy as a child? Why am I like a racehorse running wild? Why am I in a state of ecstasy? The reason is 'cause something's happened to me. La and I'm darn glad of it. Good news. Okay, I learned so many things listening to Bobby Short's albums. I mean, he was really my mentor. Of course, he didn't know it. But I'll give you the top 3 things I learned. 1, this is the best. I learned to love the lesser-known songs by the great composers. 2, I never sing Poor Pitiful Me songs unless they include irony, wit, or sarcasm. And 3, I learned the importance of the verse or the intro. I mean, it's kind of like the appetizer to the main meal. It sets you up for what you're going to hear. Well, these 3 songs coming up are perfect examples of that. They are kind of obscure, but I've come to think that obscure songs is a code word for cabaret. And the three songs all have wit, sarcasm, and irony. And they all have three just great verses. At any gambling casino, from Monte Carlo to Reno, they tell you that a beginner comes out a winner. Beginner fishing for flounder will catch a 17-pounder. That's what I've always heard and always thought absurd. But now I believe every word. I've got beginner's luck the first time that I'm in love with you. Gosh, I'm lucky, I've got beginner's luck. There never was such a smile or such eyes of blue. Gosh, I'm fortunate, this thing we've begun is much more than a pastime. For this time is a one, where the first time is the last time. I've got beginner's luck, I'm lucky through and through. 'Cause the first time that I'm in love with you. This thing we've begun is much more than a pastime. For this time is the one, where the first time is the last time. I've got beginner's luck, I'm lucky through and through. 'Cause the first time that I'm in love, the first time that I'm in love, the first time that I'm in love with you. Oh, I'm lucky, yeah, yeah, I'm lucky. Ooh, I'm a lucky girl. Thank you. I forgot to mention this. That song was by the Gershwins, and the next two are by Cole Porter. I so often dream we might make a team, but so wild a scheme I must banish. For each time I start to open my heart, you vanish. We might find some isle where lotuses smile, and our time beguile going native. But how can we go unless you are cooperative? My dear, I've a feeling you are so near, and yet so far. You appear like a radiant star, first so near, then again so far. I just start getting you keen on clinches galore with me, when fate steps in on the scene and mops up the floor with me. No wonder I'm a bit under par, for you're so near and yet so far. Jay Lenhart. I just start getting you keen on clinches galore with me. When fate steps in the scene and mops up the floor with me. No wonder I'm a bit under par, for you're so near, and yet so far. My condition is only so-so, for whenever I feel you're close, oh, you turn out to be so far. Your words go through and through me and leave me totally dazed, for they do such strange things to me. They nearly make me gloomy. For you, dear, are so clever, so obviously the top. I wish you'd go on forever. I wish even more you'd stop. Oh, it's bad for me, it's bad for me, this knowledge that you're going mad for me. I feel certain my friends would be glad for me, but it's bad for me. It's so good for me, so new for me, to see someone in such a stew for me. And when you say you do all you could for me, it's so good for me, it's bad for me. I felt till you whispered to me, completely left on the shelf. But since you started to woo me, I'm just crazy about myself. Oh, it's a boon for me, a break for me, to see someone's heart on the make for me. Yeah, no matter however appealing, I still have a feeling it's bad for me. Till you whisper to me, completely left on the shelf. But since you started to woo me, I'm just crazy about myself. Oh, it's sweet for me, it's swell for me, to see someone going through hell for me. Yeah, no matter however appealing, I still have a feeling it's bad for me. It's bad for me. noticed that half the songs in the show were written in the 1930s. Well, the 1930s were difficult times because of the Depression, and everyone was having such terrible times. But artistically, the 30s were fantastic. I mean, think of art and design. I mean, Art Deco. And the cars were magnificent. And fashion, think of Fred Astaire and those double-breasted suits. And what's her name? Ginger Rogers. And those gowns and the shoes. Oh, her shoes. But for our purposes, the music. So many of what we consider the great American standards were written by the great composers in the 30s. So these next two songs were both written in 1932, and they both deal with the Depression. Now, the first one tells us that love is more important than money. And the second one says exactly the opposite. Love laughs at a king. Kings don't mean a thing on the street of dreams. Dreams broken in two can be made like new on the street of dreams. Gold, silver, and gold, all you can hold is in the moonbeams. Poor, no one is poor, long as love is sure on the street of dreams. Midnight, you heavy laden, it's midnight. Come on and trade in your old dreams for new, your new dreams for old. I know where they're bought, I know where they're sold. Midnight, you'd better get there at midnight, where you'll be met there by others like you, brothers as blue, smiling on the street of dreams. Love laughs at a king. Kings don't mean a thing on the street of dreams. Dreams broken in two can be made like new on the street of dreams. Gold, silver, and gold, all you can hold is in the moonbeams. Poor, no one is poor, long as love is sure on the street of dreams. Speaking of love, give me a frank account. How is your bank account? Speaking of love, speaking of love, though I adore you, dear, can I afford you, dear? Speaking of love, if you could be good to me, I'd love you for all your worth. I would move heaven and earth to find that silver lining. Speaking of love, I'll be your pet for life. After I'm set for life. Speaking of love, let's get down to business. Most important business. What's the use of gaping at moons? All this Jack and Jill love, cottage on the hill love, maybe ducky for you and me, if we act with efficiency. Speaking of love, I've become passionate. If there's some cash in it. Speaking of love, speaking of love, I'll be your nincompoop. Just be my incompoop. Speaking of love, if you've got a heart of gold, then I want a place in your heart. Nothing can tear us apart as long as Papa's paying. Speaking of love, when you're through courting me, who'll be supporting me? Speaking of love, I'm merely speaking of Here's a little gem from Alec Wilder. Is it always like this when you fall in love? Are the trees always so green? Does the city have this silvery sheen? Does the sun always shine when you fall in love? Is the moon always in view? And the night designed just for you? Or is it all an illusion? Can none of this be what it seems? Does love bring an end to confusion? Does life take a tip from your dreams? Is it always like this when you fall in love? Is there still a place for laughter? Can you still live happily ever after? Then let it always be should forget her. Imagine that you've never met her. These things can never last. You can't bring back the past. You know you should forget her. Imagine that you've never met her. There's lots of fish in the brine. Just look around and cast your line. How can you forget when you lie awake and dream all night? How can you forget when your heart has a mosquito bite? When the drops of rain that fall say petter, petter once again. Don't let her leave you, says the postman. Then, how can you forget? Ring her, ring her, goes the phone. You can win her yet, bring her back alone. Fish were meant to fry, and you're in the net. Till the day you die, I love her, how can you forget? Can you forget? Ring her, goes the phone. You can win her yet, bring her back alone. Fish were meant to fry, and you're in the net. Till the day you die, till the day you die, till the day you die. Lover, how can you forget? Okay. This next song is quite something. It was written in 1956 by Harold Carr and Matt Doobie for a show called, yes, Happy Hunting, starring Ethel Merman and Fernando Lamas. Yeah. And it had one big hit. And I think there might be a few seniors out there who know this song. Please sing it along with me. We belong to a mutual admiration society, my baby and me. Oh, I guess we have a few seniors in the audience. Well, the show actually ran for just about a year, over 400 performances. Well, I have a quick Ethel Merman story. A late friend of ours was starting out as a press agent, and he was in Boston, and he was seeing the show during its tryouts in Boston, and he said he saw Ethel Merman with the ingenue in front of the curtains singing that song. The only problem was he could see Ethel Merman just fine, but all he saw of the ingenue was just a little bobbing head. And the reason for just her little bobbing head was that Ethel Merman arranged for the wardrobe people to make a dress for the ingenue, matching the exact color of the curtains. So all you saw was the little head. Yeah. So I should tell you that there's 2 words in this song that you have never heard in a song before and probably never will again. It's called reasonable facsimile. Okay, so this song is so obscure. It is so 1950s, and the arrangement is so totally Bobby Short.
1, 2, 3.
Always knew it would arrive feeling of being the only two people alive. You and me. Now you're talking. This is what I call love. I almost feel like I could fly. I never knew there were so many stars in the sky. And that moon, that's more like it. This is what I call love. When it's right, you know it's right. And everything else is amateur night. And when we kiss, then even more, I knew I was just going through the motions before. Now at last, for the first time, darling, this is what I call love. I almost feel like I could fly. I never knew there were so many stars in the sky. And that moon, that's more like it. This is what I call love. When it's right, you know it's right. And everything else is amateur night. And when we kiss, then even more, I knew I was just going through the motions before. For the first and the last time, darling, this is what I call love. Not a reasonable facsimile thereof. No, sir. This is what I call love. Reasonable facsimile, indeed. Okay, well, I have one more quick Ethel Merman story before we move on. A dear friend of mine arrived in Manhattan to start his career, gorgeous young man, in the 50s, and he found himself at a cocktail party, and it was star-studded, and who was there but Ethel Merman? So he goes up to her and he says, "Oh, Miss Merman, I'm just thrilled to meet you. And would you believe I was at a party just last week, and I met Fernando Lamas?" And Ethel Merman said, "Oh." Love that. Okay. Well, after I did the show at 88, Bobby Short and I had a friendly relationship, and we got together on a few occasions, mostly in France, because we were staying at a place with a restaurant that he loved to go to. And he told me to always call him when we arrived, and we would get together. And whether he was wearing a tuxedo, he wore gorgeous tuxedos, or just something linen, he was never anything less than elegant and charming. Here we are, 1997. Yeah. So. Well, Bobby Short was really legendary. But more than that, in 1994, he was declared a living landmark in New York. And if you go to the corner of Madison Avenue and 76th Street, That's East Side. And right on the side of the Carlisle Hotel, there's a sign that says Bobby Short Place. And if you look down at your feet, you'll see his handprints and his initials. Well, Bobby Short was, he left a legacy to all of us. I mean, all his CDs and his LPs are all still available. And if you go to YouTube, you can see so many things that he did. I should tell you that in about 2002, 2003, I brought Ted with me to hear Bobby. And I saw Bobby before he went on. He always sat just outside of the room, the Cafe Carlisle room. And I told him about Ted. And afterwards, at the end of when we were all, greeting him on the way out, he greeted Ted and remembered everything I had told him. I was just amazed at that sweetness about him. So I kind of forgot where we were. Where are we? Oh, yes. So, yes, very important. Yes. I say, let us raise a glass to the great Bobby Short. Drink a toast. So here is the great Bobby Short. Oh, and while I'm here, here's to my first romance. Here's to my worst romance. Here's to my first romance, ages ago. Here's to the guys I've kissed, and to complete the list, here's to the guy who said no. Hip, hip, love, love, hooray for love. Who was ever too blasé for love? Make this a night for love. If we have to fight, we'd fight for love. Some sigh and cry for love. But in Paris they die for love. Some say we pay for love. Just the same, hooray for love. It's a wonder of the world. It's a rocket to the moon. It gets you high, it gets you low, but once you get that glow, some trust to fate for love, others have to take off weight for love. Some go berserk for love, loafers even go to work for love. Sad songs are sob for love, people get their noses bobbed for love. Some waste away for love, just the same, hooray for love. Love, love, hooray for love. Who was ever too blasé for love? Make this a night for love. If we have to fight, let's fight for love. Some cry and die for love, but in Paris they die for love. Some say we pay for love, just the same, hooray for love. Hey!
Jane Scheckter.
This has been quite an evening. I'm just thrilled you're all here. It means the world to me. There's some people I'd like to thank, especially everybody here at Pangea. They just could not have been nicer to work with. Val Crow, Stephen Shanahan, Marek the Magnificent, Ben Cassara. I thank you all for making this such an easy and wonderful time. Thank you. We have a room full of amazing singers here. Oh my goodness. Well, you all know who you are, and you're all terrific, and thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. I should tell you that, they say when you find great people, hold on to them. And so this guy over here, we worked together first in 2000, so that's 24 years with Peter Grant on the drums, yeah. And then there's this guy. We met in 1983 and started working together right away. That's 41 years. He's been on all my CDs. The one, the only, Jay Leonard. 41 years. And then in June, on a Sunday in 1999, I went to hear this amazing kid play the piano. And 25 years later, we're still together, and he's even more amazing. Ted Firth. We'd like to leave you with this beautiful song by Bart Howard. Here we stand on the brink of tomorrow, too helplessly happy to think of tomorrow. But as long as you're looking at me, oh, what a joy my tomorrows will be. Let my love be the love you remember. Let my heart be the heart you keep. Let my face be the face you dream of. Every time you smile in your sleep. Let my lips be the lips you long for, and my song the song you sing. Let my kiss be the kiss you remember. Spring after spring after spring. Let my arms be the arms you're seeking when the dawn is creeping near. Let my love be the love you remember. Year after year, after year after year, year after year. Yeah. Thank you so much. Well, we couldn't leave you We couldn't leave you without the quintessential closing song for the great Bobby Short at the Cafe Carlyle in New York.
1, 2, 1, 2, 2, and.
It was just one of those things, just one of those crazy flings, one of those bells that now and then rings, just one of those things. It was just one of those nights, just one of those fabulous flights, a trip to the moon on gossamer wings, just one of those things. If we thought a bit at the end of it when we started painting the town, we'd have been aware that our love affair was too hot not to cool down. So goodbye, dear, and amen. Here's hoping we meet now and then. It was great fun, but it was just one of those things. Thank you, and here's to Bobby Short. Thank you. Peter Graham, Jay Leonard, Ted Firth. Thank you all so much. Bobby Short.
Let's give it up for Jane Scheckter.
Oh, I forgot to mention one thing. Oh my God, I forgot to mention a couple things. Bobby Short was at the Cafe Carlyle for 36 years. Forgot to mention that. That was important. And also, Peter, Jay, and Ted, along with Warren Vacher and Nicholas King, we made a CD and it came out in March and it's called I'll Take Romance, and we have actual hard copies if anyone still has CDs or in their car. They're for sale tonight. So thank you so much again.
Thank you all for coming out tonight to Jazz Nights at Pangea. Next week we will have Deanna Kirk. Safe home.
Well, this stuff has been in my being for a long time. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't kidding. I really heard it. I was telling the absolute truth about it. I mean, the guys are.
Now sitting there going, years. I've played from 2 to 3 at Pangea, which is not everything's I didn't tell. But it's a building with an atrium and big time.
Okay, listen, I am not a woman of words, but I have to say, when I was sitting there listening to Jane, and I've never seen her perform live before, all I kept thinking is, she makes the music dance. I mean, oh my gosh, so much life energy. I just loved this. And I will come back and see her anytime.
I have the joy of standing next to the wonderful Jane Scheckter, who performed this incredible performance tonight of Bobby Short's songs and of my father's Some Fine Day. And I can't thank you enough, Jane.
It's
It was
such a fun
just
song to sing.
you had it joie de vivre every note.
And it's for real. It's for real. It's so much fun to sing because that's like the epitome of what I say with his starts and stops and his sudden. Yeah.
Well, and with Ted Firth, Peter Grant, and Jay Lenhart accompanying you,
Doesn't get better.
it doesn't get better.
Doesn't get
Thank
better.
you so much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. You've been a real good friend.
When somebody can bring my father's music to life that way, like you did, and share it, it's a joy.
We got to keep this music going.
Yeah. Well, you're
Thank
doing a Yale woman's job for it.
Thank you.
Well, Sydney is one of my favorite cabaret performers, and I'm just going to say this right at the outset before he says anything else. This evening, Jane Scheckter performed a song that had an incomparable lyric, a reasonable facsimile thereof. And I have to say, the first time I ever heard that lyric was when this wonderful singer performed it. Thank you, my friend Sydney. Thank you.
Well, Mark, we go way back. Yes, I did not know that song. I only knew Reasonable Facsimile from all those contests you entered in the 1950s where you had to send in a box top or a reasonable facsimile. But wasn't Jane wonderful?
She was just phenomenal, and I heard songs I'd never heard, including Alec Wilder's and Bart Howard's Year After Year, and they were just delightful, beautiful songs that nobody does anymore, and nobody except Jane, God bless her. It's sort of like Mabel Mercer keeping songs alive that were obscure and wonderful and worth pursuing. So, and you do likewise, my friend. I've heard a half dozen songs from your performances I'd never heard before, so thank you.
Well, you're very welcome, and you know she did a Cy Walter song too.
Some fine day. Yes. It was wonderful. She really nailed it, and the accompaniment could not have been more superb. Ted Firth, Peter Grant, and Jay Lenhart. Oh, I am blessed to have heard it.
It was sublime. And here's to Jane.
Brava, Jane. Brava.
Wonderful, guys. Thank you. That was perfect.